So I'm waiting for my king crab legs to cook, and with that I'm going to have this Mount Louis sur Loire Le Choisille 2018, I think, 2017 is the vintage, and this was the Chenin Blanc from the Loire that I sort of had recently, and I loved it so much the first time that I went back and bought as many as I could. It's in the $35 range, but I thought it really drank really well. Second time I had it, I really liked it, but for some reason I didn't like it as much as the first time. So maybe it was too cold, maybe it was something else. Sometimes your palate just changes over time. So finding something funny with Zinfandel lately is that it's got such a bramble fruit and like a spice flavor to it that I still enjoy it, but I'm really gravitating towards a lot of flavors out of Italy more so than anything. And been watching a lot of German Riesling reviews and kind of want to get a little bit more into those, learn a little bit more about the German regions. I don't know. Sometimes you favor a wine for a while, then you kind of go away from it and you come back to it. Tastes are all over the place. So yesterday I had this Carlisle Dry Creek Zin, and it's a great wine, and it's only like in the 20s. It's just not, wasn't hitting the spot, wasn't in the greatest mood yesterday. Maybe that's part of it, who knows, but I think those old vine Zins are definitely the best. This could be. It says old vine Zin, so either way, have a little bit of that later, have a little bit of this with my crab, and while I do this, it's not really an unboxing, but sort of an unboxing of a shopping trip. The color today, this thing looks deep and dark today. It smells a little different today. Maybe the last bottle wasn't a great bottle. It could be. There's bottle variation for sure. So a little all over the place here. Let's focus a little bit. So I went on a shopping trip, got a number of wines. I only have some of them here today. It was a large shopping trip to Total Wine & More. Great store, great help. Dangerous store for someone like me, but let's talk about some of the goodies. And I don't always love this producer of Chianti, but this Chianti Classico Reserva 2016 is great for $25. Had it recently, really enjoyed it. I think it's classic Sangiovese and a great price range, and I just liked it. So I wanted another one. I know it tasted good, but I want a Sangio. Great go-to Sangio for sure. I'm always looking for those. I'm going to sort of remember that one, especially the Reserva, and just see how it goes over time and just have it as a mid-$25 wine that's going to go great with food. So let's see what else we got. So I watched some not recently, and there was a winery or a special on Smith Madroni. I bought the red wines. I reviewed one of the cabs, and it's a very rustic red that I believe is more made for the long haul. It's called I remember it being a sour red fruit thing, but definitely for the long haul. Very unique. So Spring Mountain District. I saw the Chardonnay, and it hit me as I'm scanning all these shelves of tens of thousands of wines. I wasn't looking for a Chardonnay, but my eyes just went to the Smith Madroni 2016, so it's got a few years on it. Figured I'd give it a shot. So bought this one. And let's say it was $40. Not sure. I don't know I forget some of these prices, but whatever I remember, I remember. So I'm just talking about wines. Sometimes they come and go. So when I was researching wine many moons ago, I have this periodic table of wine grapes, and I was looking at some when I was into bigger wines. There was a grape called Negro Amaro, and they make it in certain regions of Italy, and this was one of them. And this is a Salice Salentino Reserva, and it's a very inexpensive bottle. It's like $13. It's supposed to be a bold red with low acid, which isn't always my favorite thing. 2018, they had a $60 version of one of these, and I've never had an amazing Salice Salentino. And I'll try it again for $13. Give it a shot. See how it tastes. And there was a $60 one that was a 2006. I was afraid of spending $60 on a 2006 So just let it go for now and see how this is. If I enjoy this 3.5 out of 5, maybe I'll try that. I typically like to try a higher end version of every type of grape if I can, just to get a better feel for it. It's excellent today. I think this is going to go great with the crab. It's got that honey wax thing going. It's a slight petrol, which would confuse me. It's at least a little Riesling-esque, but much bolder. Much bolder, and acidity is, I say, medium plus. It's tasting really good right now. Really enjoying this. I'm actually very thirsty, so when it comes to Cabernet, and I've talked about it before, there's the left bank of Bordeaux, there's California in various areas, Napa, Sonoma, and the one other, I'm sure there's others, I can't think of them right now, but those are the top two when I'm thinking Cabernet Sauvignon. And there's one other region that I love Cabernet Sauvignon in, and it's Coonawarra, which is in Australia, and I don't have a map out, so when I actually drink this, assuming it's going to be good. There's one called Win Estate, Black Label. I had it in my wine class. I think it was in the 25-ish range. Very difficult to find since that, and I've only had it like once or twice. But I love it. There's a eucalyptus thing that goes with it that I absolutely love when it comes to the Coonawarra calves. Well, I found this one from Yolumba. It's been a while since I had a distraction. So this is called the Cigar, since that region, shaped like a cigar, Coonawarra, Cabernet, 2018. It's got this, I think they call it Terra. I'm just going to cheat and look on the back. Terra Rosa. It's like a reddish soil, and it produces a certain style of Cabernet. And we'll just see. It's time in oak, 19 months. I got high hopes for this. It was $28. If this is anything like that Win Estate, I'll be so excited. I really like the Coonawarra region. I like the flavor profile. It's a little different, a little fresher, a little mintier, more eucalyptus. I know there's some of those eucalyptus. I think Martha's Vineyard, I think Heights Cellars makes it. Has a very unique eucalyptus taste out of Napa. I think it's like known for it. But that's what sort of reminds me of Coonawarra. We'll see. We'll see. So we'll definitely be excited to try it. Do I talk about this one? Let's talk about this one first. So German Riesling, I was just talking about it. And anytime you see GG Gross Gewach, single vineyard, and specifically I'm looking for those, and this, you know, these labels at the top, screw cap, don't worry, it's German, it happens a lot. But these are single vineyard, very dry, Riesling, very age-ready. This is 2017. I don't know anything about the producer. And it's from the Rheingau. And there's the Nahe, Rheingau, Baden. I'm forgetting another region of Germany. I'm just not great with Germany. So we'll see how this is. And the back, you know, while this ripe, intensely peachy wine is plump and plush and blah, 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 we'll see. The last time I had a Gross Gewach Riesling, I absolutely loved it. It was like a surprise. I don't remember the vintage on it, but I loved it. And since then, I've been just wanting more. This was about $55. So you're going to pay for these. You're going to pay for these. They are single vineyard Rieslings and out of Germany, and they are, to me, terrific. The other great region for Riesling, to me, is Alsace. I have not been finding that many Alsatian Rieslings that are sort of single vineyard-esque or high quality-esque that I want. So that's that. Let's talk about this wine here. So this is next 2017 Stelle Sforzato. So it's a Sforzato style. It's from Valtellina, so in northern Italy, made from Nebbiolo. I have one of these. I had it. I don't know the vintage. I can't see it from here. This is a 17. I absolutely loved this wine. One of the great finds in the last 12 months for me, but it's a $100 wine. And it's expensive. So I don't know, looking at this label, I saw it immediately and I knew exactly what it was, and I was super excited. A wine like this excites me. So it's a Nebbiolo grape, but it's made a little bit in the Amarone style where they dry out the grapes. So you get a more concentrated Nebbiolo out of here, but it's a more northern Italy, so it's already got a little restraint, and then adds that extra intensity of Nebbiolo. It's a great wine. It's more Nebbiolo style, Barolo style than Amarone style, but definitely a little bit of a marriage in between. I'd say it's like a 75-25. I absolutely love it. Love the style. Would love to try more than just this producer. I have a wish list of some wines. I'm going to go to Laurenti, who has an amazing selection of Italian wines. It's in Lawrenceville, and I know they have some more Sforzatos, and I plan on trying some of those. Love that wine for sure. So when I saw it, I just couldn't resist. Just couldn't resist. 2 more from the shopping trip, and then 4 other bottles that are all the same. So it's almost New Year's, and always exploring new sparklers. They had a ton of sparklers at this store. This is Mai Grand Cru Champagne, and this one is Brut Natural, so no dosage, if I'm not mistaken. It should be bone dry. Not exactly sure. Yep, Nature. So when you see that, I'm pretty sure it's just a one singular fermentation. Then they throw it in the bottle. I don't exactly know how they get the second fermentation. Maybe another way. Not 1000% sure. But this, I'm expecting super dry. I tried this their $50 version, and it was just their standard version, a brut, extra brut, and it was awesome. Very bone dry and bready and toasty, and that brioche was there, but extremely dry, and I loved it. This should be even drier. This was $80, so super exciting wine to try. Actually, there's a little bit of a pamphlet in here. I'm curious if it actually explains a little bit how they do it, but anyway, never had this Mai. At Total Wine, they were big on telling us 17 Grand Crus in Champagne. You know, Veuve Clicquot is not one of them. You know, don't go buy those, buy this, that type of thing. And I'm always looking for Champagne houses. I'm pretty sure the stats are that 70% of the grapes grown in Champagne are bought by the giant houses. So Moet Hennessy, Veuve Clicquot, Louis Roederer. I'm sure I'm blanking on another one, but they buy the majority. When you find a grower champagne, the people that grow their own and make their own, like Pierre Peters, which is why Pierre Peters is one of my favorites, and I was actually looking for Pierre Peters, their vintage, they did not have it. So that's that. So they had a Grand Cru vintage of Mai. So 2011, Les Chansons. So purchased this for New Year's Eve specifically. Mai Grand Cru 2011 vintage champagne. I expect, again, bone dry. I expect amazing things. $180 was on sale, so $150, $160, still very expensive. You get what you pay for with vintage champagne. You spend more, you get great champagne. You don't need to go spend money on Cristal. You can go buy something like this, I believe, and get equal, if not better sometimes. It sort of depends on your flavor profile. Krug, to me, in that named category of people that know champagnes, I feel like Krug is the best of those. And I think Krug is amazing, and their vintage ones are pretty expensive. Bollinger has one called RD, recently disgorged, and it's aged like 8 to 10 years, and that one's now jumped to $350. I had that a number of years ago. Very unique taste, a very old tasting. Tastes like a very old aged white, but it's a sparkler. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. I spent sub 200, now it's 350. If I ever see it on a special again, we'll see. 350 is a lot of money to give. See how this one is. Most definitely review it. And now I bought 4 more bottles. I remembered many moons ago when I first got it, not when I first got into wine, but when I first started discovering great, I don't even know exactly, but at some point I started searching Cabernets that sort of punch above their price point. And what I found at the time was this producer called Carl Lawrence, and it was about $40, which it wasn't cheap, of course. It's probably 20 years ago. On my 40th birthday, I had a Carl Lawrence To Kalon vineyard. So To Kalon being one of the prestigious vineyards in California. And it was amazing. Nothing short of amazing. $180, maybe one of the best Cabernets I've ever had. So Carl Lawrence only makes, and I looked them up, they only make one cab now. They don't make any single vineyards, they don't make anything. This is it. And it used to be $50, now $75. So I found a store that had them. 2018 is a great vintage, as we know out of Napa. And this says I don't even know what the vineyard name is. They're too small to see, but it's all they make now. 2018, Carl Lawrence. Was super excited. I haven't had this in so long. When I first had Carl Lawrence, it was a 1999, and it was amazing. I wonder if I even have it in Vivino captured. It was awesome, just awesome. I remember just being 5-star cab, and then the one I had for my 40th was 5-star cab. But bought 4 of these. I'm thinking I'm having a steak tomorrow, and I may open one, and then let the rest just sit. They're made for the long haul. My long haul is 5 to 10 years. That's my long haul. I don't go too much further than that, unless I absolutely know there's a ton of tannin, like a Barolo or something, or maybe a Left Bank Bordeaux. But you just don't know sometimes until you try them. So I got the Corvin as well. So 4 of those. So that's it. A lot of great wine here. These wines absolutely excite me. That store absolutely excited me. Got a lot of others. Victorinos like Toro. So Spanish Tempranillo, huge. One of my favorite wines, really. It is an enormous wine, but with a lot of finesse and character, but just big and unctuous, but also complex. An amazing wine. $60, but gosh, at a Napa, that one would be $150, $200. Just the way it tastes, the layers and the depth, and it's just one of the wines that's coming to my head. We did get another Mugas, a Special Selection, $40, Rioja, one of the best $40 wines you can buy, bar none. There just isn't many better in that price range for layers of flavor and complexity, and just awesome food wine, awesome on its own wine, just amazing wine. So anyway, that's it. Should be dinner time, and I have this white with it. Should go great with the crab, and hopefully we'll do some of these wines in a video. So with that, have a good night.